I never thought I would find myself in this situation, but here I am, staring at the ceiling, wondering how things got so damn complicated. It all started about a year and a half ago when my wife, Sarah, came to me with something that threw me completely off balance. "Matt," she said one evening, "I've been thinking. I think we should open our marriage." That hit me like a truck. We had been together for 15 years, raised two amazing kids, a 14-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son, and I thought we had it all figured out. Sure, things had gotten routine, but I thought that was normal after so many years. Sarah? She had different ideas. "I just want to experience more," she explained, leaning forward, her voice almost too calm. "I need something new, something exciting." At first, I thought she was joking. I mean, we had always been pretty straightforward about what we wanted from each other: loyalty, trust, and of course, our vows. But she was dead serious. She told me that she had felt bored for a while now, that the idea of just the two of us was starting to feel stale, and that she wanted to explore new things. The room felt like it was spinning. I was dead set against it. I always believed marriage was a partnership between two people. It had been that way for 15 years, and I had no reason to think we needed to change that. But Sarah had other plans. "It's not like I don't love you," she added, almost as if she was trying to calm me down. "It's just, I haven't been with anyone else, Matt. You're the only person I've ever slept with." That was true. We had met in college, and she never had anyone else. As for me, I had a handful of relationships before her, but nothing serious. It had always just been us. Then she hit me with the ultimatum. "If we don't open things up," she said, her voice steady, "I might have to file for divorce." Those words echoed in my head. She knew what a bomb she was dropping. Divorce? After everything we had been through, after raising our kids together? I could not imagine it. She did not want to end things, she claimed, but she also did not want to stay locked in what she saw as a prison. I reluctantly agreed, but only under certain conditions. I made sure we had some ground rules. No one could come back to the house. We would not talk about our partners, and most importantly, the kids and family could never find out. And anyone we slept with had to be tested, no exceptions. Even as I said those words, my stomach churned. I knew this was wrong, but I also knew I loved Sarah and I did not want to lose her. What really pissed me off was that I had a feeling she already had someone in mind. I mean, 24 hours after we agreed to open the marriage, she was out the door, gone until 4 a.m. the next morning. She tried to play it off like nothing had happened, but I knew. I was not stupid. It crushed me. I sat on that for days, trying to process it. I felt betrayed, like I was losing control of everything we had built. But I convinced myself that if this was what it took to save our marriage, then maybe it would all be worth it in the end. I was just holding on to hope. Time passed, and I tried to adjust. It was not easy, not by a long shot. Seeing Sarah go out more often, always with that excitement in her eyes when she came back late, it was like a knife twisting in my gut every time. But I kept quiet. I had agreed to this, after all. The least I could do was honor the agreement. It was around May when I met Amber. Our daughters were in marching band together, so we had crossed paths a few times. Amber was divorced, and she made it very clear that she had no interest in getting married again. We talked here and there, and one day, after one of the band events, things just happened. One minute we were just talking, the next we were at her place. It felt strange at first, like I was cheating, even though we had an agreement, but after a few times, it became normal. Amber was upfront about everything. No strings attached. It was purely physical, and neither of us wanted anything more. Honestly, it was refreshing to have someone outside the chaos that my home life had become. As the months went by, I got used to the arrangement. In a weird way, it even helped our marriage. Sarah and I were more passionate than we had been in years, and the excitement we found outside the marriage seemed to spill over into our bedroom. It felt like we were both getting what we needed, and for a while, everything seemed to be working out. But things changed when Sarah stopped seeing her outside partner. It was in April, right when the coronavirus lockdown started. From what I gathered, her guy was in an open marriage too, but his wife had no idea. With all the restrictions in place, it became harder for them to sneak around, so they called it off. Sarah did not seem too bothered by it at first. She threw herself into organizing a Zoom concert for the band kids, which went surprisingly well. That was also the day she met Amber. I had not planned for them to cross paths, but there was no avoiding it. Amber was helping with the event, and Sarah was there too. I did not think much of it at the time, but a few days later, Sarah came to me and said she had heard through the grapevine that Amber was my outside partner. She was not angry, not exactly, but there was a tension in her voice that had not been there before. She reminded me that we had agreed not to get involved with anyone we both knew. Amber and I did not know each other before all this started, so technically I had not broken any rules. But Sarah was clearly uncomfortable. "I think you should end things with Amber," she said one night, not looking me in the eye. I refused. I told her that our rules were clear, and I had not violated them. Besides, I liked what Amber and I had. It was simple. It worked. But the more I pushed back, the more irritated Sarah got. Over the next few weeks, she kept bringing it up, saying it made her uneasy. Funny, considering she had no problem being with her guy for over a year. Last weekend, everything came to a head. Sarah came to me, out of nowhere, and said she wanted to close the marriage. She was done with the open arrangement and wanted things to go back to the way they were. I told her I was open to that, but only if we agreed to never open it up again. I was not going to go through this emotional roller coaster twice. She quickly agreed. Then, I hit her with the second condition. I wanted her to sign a document waiving spousal support in the event of a divorce. That is when she flipped out. "You want me to sign away everything? Are you crazy?" she shouted. She had not worked since we got married, and the idea of leaving herself vulnerable like that terrified her. I explained that I was not asking her to give up everything. I just wanted some protection in case things went south. I even offered to include a clause that would void the agreement if I cheated or anything like that. But she refused to even discuss it. She accused me of planning to leave her for Amber, which was not even on my radar. The whole situation escalated quickly. Sarah accused me of being dramatic, saying that I needed to focus on us, on fixing what was left of our marriage. But I was done being manipulated. Every time something did not go her way, she dangled divorce over my head like a threat. I was tired of it. We argued for hours, and by the end of it, I told her I would not close the marriage unless she agreed to my terms. She stormed off, slamming the bedroom door behind her. I knew I was standing my ground for a reason, but at the same time, I could not shake the feeling that I was blowing up my marriage over something that did not really matter. Amber and I were just having fun. It was not serious, but still, it felt like this was bigger than just Amber. The next morning, I called Amber and asked if she had told anyone about us. She denied it, and I believed her. She had always been discreet, and I did not get the sense that she was lying. That is when I started digging. Using my wife's Google timeline, I discovered that Sarah had followed me to Amber's house back in April. She had tracked my location and then deliberately introduced herself to Amber to stir up trouble. The realization hit me hard. She had been spying on me, waiting for an opportunity to sabotage what I had with Amber. I confronted Sarah that evening. She denied it at first, of course, but I had the evidence. When I showed her the location history, she tried to deflect, accusing me of invading her privacy. But I did not let it go. Finally, she admitted that she had followed me because she could not stand the thought of me being with someone else when she had no one. I was furious. She had been the one who pushed for this whole open marriage idea, and now, because things were not going her way, she was spying on me and trying to sabotage what I had with Amber. I told her straight up, "This was your idea. You wanted this, and now you cannot handle it because I am the one who has a partner." She tried to backtrack, saying it was different for her, that Amber being a mom at our kids' school made everything feel too close to home. I did not buy it. To me, it felt like she just could not stand that I was enjoying myself with someone else while her thing had fizzled out. I told her that I would end things with Amber, but only if she agreed to close the marriage permanently, go to counseling, and, once the pandemic was over, start looking for a job. That last part set her off. "I am a stay-at-home mom. I have not worked since we got married, and you want me to get a job now?" she yelled. I reminded her that if she was serious about us closing the marriage and staying together, we would both need to contribute to our household. With the way things were going, it felt like she was using the stay-at-home mom excuse as a crutch to keep control over me. We agreed to try counseling. The first few sessions actually went pretty well. The therapist asked the hard questions, ones I had been too afraid to ask myself. She asked Sarah why she felt the need to go outside our marriage in the first place. Why had she followed me? What had changed between us that made her want something more? Sarah admitted some things that hit me like a ton of bricks. She confessed that her outside partner had been someone from her past, a high school boyfriend. They had broken up right before things got serious back then, and apparently, she had never really gotten over him. When they reconnected last year, she felt like it was her chance to fulfill some old fantasy that had been gnawing at her all these years. I was beyond pissed. I had let this whole open marriage happen because I thought it was some random fling, some guy who did not matter. But no, it was someone who had history with her, someone who had always been in the back of her mind. And here I was, just another guy, another husband who had gotten played. I left the house for a few days after that. I checked into a hotel because I did not want my kids to see me like that. Angry, confused, humiliated. I spent those days replaying every moment, wondering how I had missed the signs, wondering if this guy had always been there, lurking in her thoughts while we were living our lives. When I got back, things felt off. My daughter, Emma, was unusually cold toward me, more than usual for a 14-year-old. She barely spoke to me, and when I asked her what was wrong, she finally exploded. "You are cheating on Mom with Amber," she screamed. I was stunned. "Who told you that?" I asked, though deep down I already knew the answer. It was Sarah. She had told Emma that I had been staying at Amber's house while I was gone, planting the seed that I was some cheating scumbag. I had to sit Emma down and explain everything. Well, not everything, but enough. I showed her the hotel receipts, told her that yes, Mom and I were having problems, but I had not abandoned her or her brother for anyone else. She cried a lot that night, and it broke my heart. After that, I was done playing nice. I got on Facebook and found the guy's wife. I sent her a message, laying it all out, how her husband had been having an affair with Sarah for over a year. I even offered to send her proof if she wanted it. She responded quickly, saying she had suspected something for a while and thanked me for letting her know. When Sarah found out what I had done, she went ballistic. "You violated our therapy sessions. You ruined his life," she screamed, as if she was more upset about his life than ours. I asked her why she had told our daughter that I was staying with Amber. She denied it, of course, and still refuses to admit she said anything other than that I had been away for a few days. We have barely spoken since. Our next counseling session is tomorrow, but I do not even know if I want to go. Every time I catch Sarah in a lie, I lose a little more faith in our marriage. I do not know if I will ever trust her again. Now I am just sitting here, staring at the phone, trying to build up the courage to call a lawyer. I know what I need to do. I know that filing for divorce is the right choice, but every time I get close to dialing the number, I feel sick. I feel like I failed, like I could not keep my family together. But deep down, I know it is already over. There is no coming back from this. Sarah and I have torn each other apart, and I do not think either of us has the energy to pick up the pieces. I keep thinking about what this means for our kids, what kind of example we are setting for them. I guess that is the thing about marriage. You go into it thinking it is forever, but sometimes forever is just too damn long.